Mitch Trubisky, on the other hand, his second half performance was good, wasn't strong enough to earn a starting job. I think that's fine. I think you should have stuck with Kenny if he was available. I think you agree with me on that one. But Mitch has also made headlines this week from something that's happened 3 weeks ago, which in my opinion is a bit far. Like, we're pretty far past this, but I came on this podcast after the Jets game and said, there's no way that you just pulled Mitch Trubisky down 10-6 at halftime because you were looking for a spark. That just doesn't happen. Not for a rookie quarterback who hasn't taken a first team rep in practice and who hasn't played a regular season game and said, go win us a game at halftime. That's just not what Mike Tomlin does, the Pittsburgh Steelers do, or most NFL teams do. Now it's come out that, according to Jerry Dulac of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, that Diontae Johnson and Mitch Trubisky were in a bit of a fight at halftime. Diontae got in Mitch's face, yelling to throw him the football, which is super bizarre because he did throw him the football. Diontae dropped it, led to an interception. That one's 100% on Diontae Johnson. And then Mike Tomlin comes out and replies to the situation and doesn't say no, but he doesn't say yes, but he certainly doesn't say no. This is what he has to say. The things that happen among competitors from time to time is a normal business. Everyone wants to win. If it transpired, good. If that probably means there are a couple of guys that want to win. If it didn't transpire, it probably means that it should have, because we are aggressively pursuing victory. Sometimes that's emotional. So in other words, he said it did happen. And if it didn't happen, Diontae definitely should have did it anyways because Mitch stinks. That's what I took away from that. I mean, either way, not a great situation for Pittsburgh.
Right. It was just a weird quote because it conveyed some kind of displeasure that Mike Tomlin had with Mitch's play, but it's like, Mike Tomlin, you're in control of your own personnel. Like, what, you needed Diontae to you needed one of your own players to go yell at one of your own players because he wasn't playing well enough. That's the part that's weird to me, is the fact that Tomlin would kind of accept. First of all, I don't think you need to yell at. I don't think you need to like fight with your teammates in the locker room to show that you want to win. I think that was that's just a weird cliche about, like, when someone gets angry, that's automatically good because they want to win. I think everyone wants to win, whether they fight with their teammates or not. But then just like it was a weird kind of deflection of responsibility a little bit, saying that, no, I was happy Diontae did this because someone had to do it. It's like, why don't you do it?
Exactly.
Like, if Mitch wasn't playing well enough, why don't you yell at him? Why don't you bench him? Why don't, it was a little weird.
It was definitely weird. I didn't look at it like that, but that's a really good point to say, like, why, if Tomlin's cool with this and he was like, hey, yeah, like that should have been a thing. Why did it get to that point? As a head coach, did you allow it to get to, I need a player to yell at another player because we stink this bad, instead of handling the situation? You're right.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, this all like kind of falls into his lap, and it was just, yeah, it's I don't know. It was, and I don't know why you would try to embrace like discord in your locker room, like people getting pissed off at each other, like that. I understand it might have been kind of a spin, but like that's, I don't know. It seemed like kind of like a weird kind of football cliche, I guess, that got like that he loves, passion and aggression or whatever. It seemed kind of stupid, and like I don't know. It just seemed kind of stupid to kind of praise this and say this was a good thing.
It wasn't a good thing. You think about the best players in Pittsburgh. Najee Harris, and I know that's a bad way to start here, but Najee Harris isn't fighting anybody. It's just not going to happen. Cam Hayward, yeah, he fights people in practice pretty often, but he's never going to yell at anybody, ever. He always has control of his emotions in the locker room. Minkah Fitzpatrick, one of the most passionate guys I've ever seen on a football field. He's not fighting anybody if it's not Chase Claypool during a practice. And TJ Watt, who TJ Watt, again, it's all on the football field. If it's on the football field, that's a totally different thing. Emotions are flying, people are getting hit. You are a testosterone driven league, and sometimes things get chippy. But if it's in the locker room and you're yelling that you should throw me the football, that's just pent up aggression that or anger that you've had towards that guy for some time, and you've let that out. And Mike Tomlin should, you're 100% correct. Mike Tomlin should handle that situation way better. He shouldn't allow it to get to that point whatsoever. And here we are. My question, do you think it was enough? Because like I said, it felt weird. Like you didn't throw a rookie out at halftime when you're only down 4 points because you needed a spark. That just doesn't happen. Not especially not for Mike Tomlin, who's the most cautious coach in all of football. But that's what they did. Did you look at that and say Diontae Johnson is the reason that Mitch Trubisky got benched? Because when I first thought of it, I thought, oh, maybe Matt Canada and Mitch got into it. Mike and Mitch got into it. It had to be a coach. It definitely wasn't thinking the guy that just dropped an interception who has had drop problems all season yelling at Mitch. That wasn't my thought.
Right. It's just, yeah, right. That's really weird. It's like one receiver alone, whether it's the star receiver or not. Like I just didn't think Diontae carried that much kind of power, I guess, in the locker room or in the decision making. And like you said, Mitch was throwing him the ball. Like it wasn't even just that dropped interception. Like Diontae was the most targeted guy on the team through, probably still is the most targeted guy but he's getting, 7-8 targets a game. Like this is not a targets thing. It was whatever Mitch's issues were, he was looking for Diontae. I just didn't know Diontae held that much power in the locker room. That was
me neither. I don't think a wide receiver should hold that much power in a locker room. I think the quarterback should be if it was the other way around and Mitch was yelling at somebody for something, maybe Najee Harris. If Najee Harris, who's a team captain, was yelling at Mitch in the locker room, telling him, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, you stink, blah, blah, blah. Maybe at that point you just say, okay, we're going to lose the offense. But like Diontae Johnson, just like you said, what grounds does Diontae Johnson hold, especially when he's dropping footballs? If this was last season, I could see, okay, maybe, this is your star wide receiver who's clearly upset with your quarterback. But this year, it's just like, this guy's inconsistent. Fans aren't really pleased with him. A lot of people wish that he got traded before he got signed. Like, it's not like this is a fan favorite out here in Pittsburgh, and he's like the guy that everybody should listen to at all times. That's just weird, in my opinion. I think that it was Mike Tomlin ready to do it. I think Mike Tomlin was ready to do it heading into the Jets game. He didn't do it because he wasn't ready to give up on Mitch yet. I don't think that he was fully confident in Kenny at that point. And then this happened and he just said, okay, this is an excuse. You know what I mean? It's like breaking up with a girlfriend and you're just like, the whole time you're like, I kind of hope, like, it's, you know what I'm saying? Like you're in a bad relationship and towards the end, you're like, I kind of hope that maybe she just like makes out with a dude at a party,
Right.
So that,
just
like,
you have something to fight over and cut it off cleanly. Like it.
Yep. And then it's not your fault. And then it's it's their
Right,
fault or
exactly.
whatever. Exactly. You just want to look like the good guy. I think that was Mike Tomlin. And
just looking for an opportunity
in the situation.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would believe that definitely. Like he's looking for, it's a move he wanted to make from the jump, and for whatever reason he couldn't, and he was just looking for the opportunity to make that move as soon as possible. And this was convenient.
And it's a weird situation, but it's 3 weeks ago. It is what it is. My question is like, Diontae, what did Diontae finish with last week? He definitely wasn't. I mean, Chase led the team in receptions. Diontae
and yards,
had,
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, 5 receptions for 28 yards. So how many bad games does Diontae have to have before he's yelling at Kenny Pickett to throw him the football? It just, I don't know. It's a weird situation. And on the other end of that, like Chase Claypool loves Mitch Trubisky, loves him. And I don't know. I think it's a weird dynamic in the locker room right now. I think it's, then you have the whole like Ron Cook talking about how he displayed poor captainship or whatever. I don't believe any of that. I have not heard any of that. I've heard that he's remaining the captain. The Steelers aren't going to remove him as captain. I think that's a little bit overblown. I don't trust a radio guy as far as I could throw him. So, that is what it is.